So, I want to welcome everybody to iLearn Review Live, and today we're going to be talking about the cable of the future. Now, I've got an honest question for you. Where is that? I brought a cable up here. I'm looking for it. How many cables do you have in your house? Too many? So, you have too many in the garbage landfills and stuff like that. So I want to show you a cable. Before I show you the cable of the future, I want to show you a cable I got a couple years ago at the Consumer Electronics Show. Now you'll notice this cable is pretty useless because it's so short. We call it Ron. No. Oh, I love Ron. I'm kidding. We call it Ron, but here's what I want to show you about this cable. Imagine if you could have one cable that had all of your cables in it. So if you look at this, I'm going to stand up so we can see. I've got a light cable right there. I've got the older dot connector cable right there. I added the lightning part myself, but then I have micro USB and mini USB in one cable. Now that's pretty cool. That's a piece of tech that I've got a whole bunch of cables for one. But that's not what I'm looking for. This is one cable that has all the cables in it, but in the future we're just going to have one cable for everything. And it has been mandated by the government of the European Union that we have this cable, and every technology company uses this cable by 2020. So the current cable spec that everybody has to use in the European Union is called micro USB. You've probably seen it. If you have Apple stuff, you have the cable that Apple uses, and you have all of the other cables. You know what I'm talking about? That other cable is called micro USB. And the problem with micro USB is it's not reversible. You can't choose which way you want to put it. So I made a new cable. It's called USB Type-C. And this is what it is. I'm going to show it to you real quick. Essentially, it works in either direction. So you see we've got it. And we've got it working in either direction. It's exactly the same cable in any direction. If you were to go out and buy an Android phone right now, your Android phone would have a USB Type-C on it. If you were to go out and buy an Apple laptop right now, it would have USB Type-C on it. I want to show you the old 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro. Now, this is true of any older computer. I'm going to show you right on the screen. If we're looking at this, I moved my microphone all the way down. So I'm looking at this old 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro. You'll notice that I have an SD card slot. I have an HDMI port. I have a USB port on one side. On the other side, I've got a power jack. I've got two Thunderbolt ports. I've got a USB port, and I've got a headphone jack, right? This is the 2015 Retina MacBook Pro. Now, here's the interesting thing. Let me now show you the 2016 Retina MacBook Pro. I have one USB Type-C port, two USB Type-C port, three USB Type-C port, four USB Type-C port, and unlike the current iPhone, a headphone jack. So I actually have only USB Type-C. Now here's the cool thing. This one port can do everything. So what's very cool, have any of you ever needed to plug in your device and it's inconvenient that your plug is on one side of your device? Yes. When I take this MacBook Pro, if I want to use it in my bed, I plug it in on the left-hand side. If I want to use it in my desk, I plug it in on the right-hand side. Any of these four ports can do anything. And a lot of people go, oh, that's so annoying. Then I'm going to need adapters and dongles to do everything. But just imagine for a second, this cable, you can buy this cable from Apple for about $30. Or you can buy this cable from Amazon for $2.50. USB Type-C is an open standard. So what that means is any device will be able to do that. Now, here's the thing that blows a lot of people's minds. This is actually the charger for my MacBook Pro. So I can plug this in. It has a brick on the other end that I didn't bring. I can plug this in. This is the charger from my MacBook Pro. But this is also the charger for my Google Pixel cell phone. So imagine for a second if you could charge your laptop and your phone and your tablet and all of that with one connector. But here's the question that a lot of people come up to me and they go, okay, that's cute. You have one connector. Nothing I have right now uses that connector. And that's why I live in this place right now that we call dongle hell. I have a dongle for everything. But I want to show you something really unique about USB Type-C. I want you to think back when you had CD drives still that were in computers. Do you remember when you had CD drives that were still in computers? Can you buy a laptop computer without a CD drive anymore?
No.
It's really, with a CD drive, that's what I meant. You really can't buy a laptop computer with a CD drive anymore. You know the first company to take the CD drives out of the computers?
Apple.
Apple. You know the first company to make all the ports USB Type-C?
Apple.
Apple. It moves the technology ahead. But here's what I want to show you. So you see I have these USB Type-C ports. What if, for example, I need to plug in a monitor? How would I go about doing that? Any thoughts? So here's the cool thing. I can take a little adapter right here. This is USB-C. Now this will work with my iPhone, not my iPhone, this will work with my MacBook, it'll work with my MacBook Pro, my little MacBook. It'll also work with this phone. These are universal things. I plug in one cable and guess what I have? I have a full-size USB, I have an full-size USB, I have an HDMI, and I have a charging pass-through. Now what you'll notice is this computer right here doesn't have a VGA port to plug into a monitor.
That was a VGA port in that plug.
This is a VGA port in this plug.
Not an HDMI.
Well, well, well.
Okay.
Sometimes,
Unless you have a converter.
no. I have one for HDMI as well. Now here's the thing, why I have two of these is for a very important purpose. You see the white one down here? This one's from Apple. This is about $60, $70. This one is an HDMI one from Amazon for about $15. They both work exactly the same. Standardized cables are one of the greatest things in the world because if you forget your cable, you're good. Now, this is called USB Type-C. Now, I'm going to show you some other USB Type-C things I have. So I have this one. This is USB Type-C on one end. And if you look on the other end of this cable, I have 3 USB ports, real USB ports, and a network jack. So you see that I can take this cable and I can turn it into anything. So there's a product called the MacBook. It's right over there on the table. And it just has, the whole concept of the MacBook is it has one USB Type-C port. And you go, what can I do with one port? I want to show you where this is eventually going. This product I'm about to show you exists for USB-C right now, works with a lot of different USB-C devices, but here's what I can do. Imagine in the future, you can take one cable, plug it into your phone, let's say, or your laptop, and have all of this connectivity I'm about to show you. So this cable will not only charge your device, but it will give you an SD card slot, a headphone jack, USB port, let me turn this sideways, USB port, around back, 3 more USB ports, another USB Type-C, a network jack, and HDMI from one cable while charging your device. Think about that for a second. So this is a USB Type-C dock. Now you need a compatible USB Type-C device to do this, but it's a USB Type-C dock to give you a little idea there. And I have one cable and I go like that. So I can take my Mac laptop. This is exactly what I do. I have my Mac laptop. I plug it into this. And now my Mac laptop becomes a desktop. I have all the ports that I would have on an iMac and more. I don't even have an HDMI port on my iMac.
Who makes it?
This is made by a company called OWC, or Other World Computing. It's a really, really cool gadget. I will tell you, when I bought this gadget, I had a gold computer. Now my sister has my gold computer, so I don't have a gold computer anymore. But this is from a company called OWC. But here's the thing to understand. Every device I own, other than my iPhone, now charges via this one connector. Apple will be forced by 2020, whether they like it or not, legally in the European Union to go to this connector. This is a legal standard. They have to go to this connector by 2020 because, as she said earlier, you have a lot of e-waste. You have a lot of waste that goes on, a lot of cables. Think how easy that would be if you just had one cable for absolutely everything. I love it, but the thing is, Apple's not just going to go to that cable in Europe. Obviously, they're going to go to that cable worldwide, so I'm going to tell you within the next few years, guess what? The cable's going to change again. Now, there are some technical solutions that I've seen that allow both this and Lightning to work at the same time. So the older cable and this to work inside of a port at the same time. So it's possible, but the thing is, within the next 2 years, 2.5 years, Every device sold in the EU, and it's very likely going to get regulated in the States, has to charge with this one cable. And imagine if you could use one cable to charge everything. It's called USB Type-C, and it is the future. And a lot of you are going to go kicking and screaming into the future, meaning that when you go buy a new computer, because here's the thing, Apple put out this machine, the new MacBook Pro with USB-C ports, and it's got a touch bar, and it's got all this stuff like that. It is the highest selling Mac laptop ever. So what do you think all the Windows manufacturers are doing right now? They're installing just USB Type-C ports on all of their machines. And I guarantee in June, because June is when a lot of the new Windows computers come out, they're going to all come out. I have a Windows computer downstairs. The one I teach my class with has 2 USB-C ports and 1 normal size USB port. So if you want to see a Windows computer that has it, I have my Lenovo, which has all that on it. But you just have one single port for interacting with everything. The name of that port is USB Type-C, and you're going to see it pop up. My recommendation is if you go buy a new gadget, other than an iPhone or an iPad, and it doesn't right now, and it doesn't charge via USB Type-C, don't buy it. Cool? So just as another note, tomorrow at 10:30 in here in the morning, not at night, because at night I'm not sober. Tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning, we're going to be looking at the Mac. It's a class called Mac to the Future. It is not called Getting Started with Mac because it's not about getting started with Mac. It's called Mac to the Future. It's 3 really cool things you can do with the Mac. I'm going to show you how to sign a document, how to do that, but I'm going to show you how to sign a document, how to edit a video, and how to make any song you have on your Mac into a ringtone for your iPhone for free, which is really quite cool. But we're also going to talk about the new MacBook Pro in a little more detail in the new MacBook, which use the USB Type-C adapter. And I wanted to leave you with that. Bye!